It's your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. That is my nickname. I appreciate all you guys for tuning into my channel today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you're rocking with your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly, and almost every single day if I can. Alright, today, a hot topic is Aaron Rodgers in the sports broadcasting, in the sports media, in the sports radio talk show world. I personally did not want to make this video at first, but again, a lot of NFL analysts, a lot of people talking in the sports media world have triggered me to make this video talking about Aaron Rodgers. We today are going to discuss if Aaron Rodgers indeed is an overrated quarterback as far as his all-time status, as far as his status in the league today. Okay, and we'll just kind of refute all arguments that Aaron Rodgers is just, in fact, not very good and overrated, because my stance is the fact that Aaron Rodgers is nowhere near overrated. If anything, he's a little bit underrated. We'll talk about all that stuff. But really, this whole talk was pretty much sparked by a guy named Bucky Brooks, who recently made an article on NFL.com talking about Aaron Rodgers and how he said he's no longer a top 5 quarterback in the game today. Okay, he also went on and he also went on to speak for yourself and said that Aaron Rodgers is in the same boat as Russell Westbrook, guys. And he said that Aaron Rodgers in 2019 and 2020, he does not think you can win a championship with Aaron Rodgers or Russell Westbrook on your team. So we'll just talk about all those things. I'm not going to dive into Bucky Brooks' entire article and pretty much pinpoint and break down and refute all the arguments he made, because pretty much what you can do is you can kind of just gloss over some things. You can pretty much figure your own argument to make it sound good, because that's pretty much what Bucky Brooks did, in my opinion. He pretty much, glossed over some games in 2015. He didn't mention in his article because he went back to 2015 and pretty much said Aaron Rodgers has not been the same quarterback, okay? But in 2015, Aaron Rodgers did go to the playoffs. He did win a playoff game. He went to overtime with the Arizona Cardinals, in which he threw 2 straight Hail Marys to Jeff Janis just to get to overtime. And then in 2016, the guy goes out there, wins 6 straight playoff games just to get into the playoffs. The guy, carries the 26th ranked defense, a team that had a terrible offensive line, a team that did not have a good running game. He carried them to within 1 game of the Super Bowl. He beat the Giants in the playoffs. He beat the 13-3 Dallas Cowboys, a Super Bowl favorite potentially, and he was 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Okay, obviously losing to Matt Ryan and the Falcons, a better team than him. He also glossed over the fact that in 2017, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers were 4-1 before he broke his collarbone in Minnesota. And let's not forget, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles were 4-1 through that same stretch of games too, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying, look, Aaron Rodgers, he was balling out at that time, had 13 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. But hey, Bucky Brooks just for some reason wanted to gloss over that. So right off the bat, as far as Bucky Brooks getting on and saying that Aaron Rodgers and Russell Westbrook are in the same boat, all I'm going to say is when Russell Westbrook gets past the first round of the playoffs, come talk to me. Russell Westbrook for 3 straight years has not even gotten past the first round of the playoffs. He's shot under 40% for 3 straight years in the playoffs. So until Russell Westbrook does better than that, come talk to me, okay? And look, I feel like just because Aaron Rodgers missed the playoffs this past year, we're kind of refuting his all-time greatness. I mean, the guy is still one of the 10 best quarterbacks I've ever seen play the game. He's the best thrower of the football and most talented quarterback that I've ever seen. Patrick Mahomes might take that title one day, but daggone it, I mean, he's only been playing for 1 season. Aaron Rodgers has been doing this for a decade. So as far as I'm concerned, Patrick Mahomes is on reserve, okay? Now, as far as Aaron Rodgers' all-time numbers go, the guy's a top 10 quarterback to me of all time. I mean, the guy's 10th all-time in touchdowns. He has 338 touchdowns to only 80 interceptions for his career. The fact that Aaron Rodgers potentially could throw over 500 touchdowns and only roughly 100 interceptions is just amazing in itself, okay? Best touchdown to interception ratio of all time, okay? Obviously, has won a Super Bowl MVP, has won multiple playoff games, went to the playoffs 8 straight years, until he missed the playoffs this past year, okay? Has the highest career passer rating of anyone in the National Football League's history, has the highest touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history, fastest player in history to 300 touchdown passes, and one of only 9 players to win a MVP multiple times. So Aaron Rodgers is a 2-time MVP. Only 9 guys have done that. To me, that's a top 10 quarterback of all time. If you don't think Aaron Rodgers is a top 10 quarterback of all time based off the numbers and the fact that he's won a Super Bowl, I don't know what to tell you, okay, and based on his accomplishments, okay? The guy might just be the best quarterback as far as talent goes that I've ever seen alone, okay? So, that's one thing. Another thing is, look, a lot of people want to say Aaron Rodgers missed the playoffs this year, and that's a fair assessment. Aaron Rodgers, look, I'm gonna say it right now. And by the way, if you want to say Aaron Rodgers is not a Tom Brady, if he's not Joe Montana, if he's not Peyton Manning, look, I'm not gonna argue too much with you about that. But as far as all the other guys in the league goes, as far as some of the all-time other great quarterbacks, I think Aaron Rodgers stacks up pretty well. Okay. Not saying he's a top 5 quarterback of all time or anything like that. I think he's definitely in the top 10, but let's get to my point. Aaron Rodgers missed the playoffs this year, okay? But let's be real, guys. LeBron James missed the playoffs this past year. Is anyone refuting the fact that LeBron James is still one of the 3 best players in basketball? No one's refuting that, okay? He's still arguably maybe the best player in basketball. See, what we do as sports fans, we like to kind of get into recency. You know, Baker Mayfield's hot, Deshaun Watson's hot, you know, Patrick Mahomes, those 50 touchdowns. But we forget the all-time greatness that Aaron Rodgers and some of these great all-time quarterbacks have presented to us. And look, if you want to say Aaron Rodgers missed the playoffs, if you want to say that's the reason he's overrated, I just think you're wrong. Because you want to know why? Because Drew Brees has missed the playoffs 9 times throughout his career. 9 times Drew Brees has missed the playoffs in his career. Phil Rivers, I'm going to put a graphic on the screen of notable quarterbacks that have missed the playoffs and how many times they've done it throughout their career. Phil Rivers, a great quarterback, missed the playoffs 7 times. Big Ben Roethlisberger, who has had nothing but Hall of Fame players for wide receivers, nothing but Pro Bowlers for wide receivers, has had great Hall of Fame defenses throughout the early part of his career. He's missed the playoffs 5 times. Matt Ryan has missed the playoffs 5 times, okay? Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, Tom Brady are kind of low when you talk about that regard as far as missing the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers has only missed the playoffs twice throughout his whole career, okay? And he has more MVPs than Drew Brees. So if you want to tell me Aaron Rodgers is overrated because he missed the playoffs, well, daggone it, Drew Brees is overrated. You want to know why? Because Aaron Rodgers actually makes the playoffs each year, despite the fact that he's not had a great defense, the fact that he's not had a great offensive line, the fact that he's never really had a great running game. The guy's had 2 top 10 defenses throughout his entire career, okay? So at least he's making the playoffs pretty much every single year. Now, I'm not saying Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers are overrated. I'm just saying if you want to overrate Aaron Rodgers, you got to overrate Drew Brees too, and Big Ben, and Phillip Rivers, etc., etc. You get the point. And then, as far as Andrew Luck, I mean, I like Andrew Luck a lot. He's led a ton of great, flawed rosters to the playoffs. But what has Andrew Luck done in the playoffs? His playoff numbers have been terrible. Aaron Rodgers' career numbers are way head and shoulders above Andrew Luck. I mean, Andrew Luck still hasn't even won an MVP yet. He's led the league in touchdown passes once, but that's pretty much it, okay? And then you look at Russell Wilson. Okay, Russell Wilson's going to be an all-time great quarterback to me, but Aaron Rodgers' career numbers are better, okay? If you dive into the analytical stats, if you dive into the career touchdown passes, the interception ratios, you get the point. And then, also, let's not forget, guys, Russell Wilson inherited the Legion of Boom defense and Pete Carroll as his head coach. I would love to see what Aaron Rodgers could do with a defense like the Legion of Boom. I would love to see what Aaron Rodgers could do with a running back like Marshawn Lynch. The best running back Aaron Rodgers has ever had is Eddie Lacy, who ate his way out of the National Football League and playing time in football. Now, I want to dive into Aaron Rodgers and his lack of playoff success, okay? A lot of people criticize Aaron Rodgers because he's had a lack of playoff success. He's obviously won a Super Bowl, that's great, but it's been a while since he's won a Super Bowl, okay? And a lot of people think he should have another ring. And I firmly believe that too. And to me, if Aaron Rodgers wants to become one of the all-time greats, where I think he firmly belongs, just off his talent alone, based off the greatness and elevation of a team that he's shown in the past, he needs another Super Bowl. Well, when I look at Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, he's not the solo reason that they've been losing games. The guy is 5th all-time in passer rating in the playoffs, okay? Let's look at some notable quarterbacks and how their stats stack up versus Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, okay? Now, obviously, you can look at touchdowns, the interceptions, how many touchdowns, how many yards you throw. Okay, that's all great and good, but I want to just kind of, sum it up in a short form. Passer rating takes into account your completion percentage, your yards per attempt, how many touchdowns, how many interceptions you throw. So it's pretty much like a test, okay? It's pretty much like, a grading scale, okay? So how great has Aaron Rodgers been as far as the analytics show in the playoffs, okay? Now, obviously, you can still win games and not play great, be clutch in the 4th quarter. That's all good. I'm going to put a graphic on the screen. Aaron Rodgers, 5th all-time in career passer rating in the playoffs. Russell Wilson is 9th. Drew Brees is 4th. Tom Brady is 14th, who has 6 rings. Tom Brady 14th that has 6 rings. Aaron Rodgers has put up better numbers in the playoffs than Tom Brady. Cam Newton 17th. Eli Manning is 18th, and he has more rings than Aaron Rodgers. What does that tell you? His defense and team has been better in the playoffs. Okay, Peyton Manning 19th all-time in passer rating, and Big Ben Roethlisberger at 21st all-time as far as playoff career passer rating. So, like I said, what this tells you is the fact that Aaron Rodgers has played well pretty much throughout his whole entire playoff career. He's 9-7 in the playoffs. He's played well and pretty much even the losses, okay? And let's dive right into these losses. Another thing I wanted to bring up, the fact that, look, Aaron Rodgers, he's never really had a great defense. Like I said, I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the video. He's only had 2 top 10 defenses all time. I just want to bring this up, okay? And look, Tom Brady, you know, he has had a top 10 defense, okay, from, let's look at the years. Tom Brady in 2001, 2003, 2004, 2006, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. I can even go on and on. Tom Brady has always historically had top 10 defenses. Big Ben Roethlisberger has had Hall of Famers on his defense throughout the early part of his career. Always had Hall of Fame and great Pro Bowl wide receivers. Hines Ward, Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, and Emmanuel Sanders. You get all the points, okay? You know, look, Peyton Manning has had 7 top 10 defenses throughout his career. Aaron Rodgers has had 2, okay? So, again, I just want to put this in context. Aaron Rodgers has never really had a great defense, and the best running game that Aaron Rodgers ever has had throughout his career has been Eddie Lacy, who ate his way out of the National Football League. Eddie Lacy is not really playing much in the NFL anymore because he is too fat. He ate too much. That's Aaron Rodgers' best running back that he's had. Tom Brady has always had a great elite running game, okay? You know, Sony Michel, he's pretty good. He's pretty responsible for Tom Brady's Super Bowl, okay? You know, Drew Brees has had Alvin Kamara. He's had Mark Ingram. He's had Darren Sproles. He's had what's his name? Reggie Bush. So I'm just gonna put all this in context. Aaron Rodgers never had a great offensive line. You know, he's been sacked 50 times, multiple times. Been sacked over 40 times, multiple times. But I think I've talked enough. I just wanted to put some things in context before I get into all of Aaron Rodgers' playoff losses. So let's talk about the playoff losses, okay? The first time he ever was in the playoffs, okay? Puts up 45 points versus Kurt Warner, a Hall of Fame quarterback. What does Aaron Rodgers' defense do? Gives up 51 points. So is that on Aaron Rodgers? No, it's not, okay? The very next year, in his 3rd season starting as a quarterback, he wins the Super Bowl with a top 10 defense behind him as a wild card. So it pretty much shows Aaron Rodgers, he's had 2 top 10 defenses. One time that he's had the top 10 defense, he's won a Super Bowl, okay? So then again, in 2011, his defense gives up 37 points, okay? Now, I'll say Aaron Rodgers does deserve some blame for losing that game because the team was 15-1. He was at home, and he lost to Eli Manning and the Giants at home. He got smacked by Eli Manning and the Giants, okay? But let's keep it real. That Green Bay Packers team was sorry. That defense was sorry, okay? They were the 32nd ranked defense that year. You know what Aaron Rodgers did in the regular season? He dragged them to a 15-1 record in rallying to winning an MVP. And obviously in the playoffs, he only put up 20 points versus that Giants defense, so he did need to play better in that regard, okay? But the defense did give up 37 points. But hey, I'm going to put a little bit more of that loss on Aaron Rodgers because in reality, you got to find a way to beat Eli Manning at home in a playoff game after you're fresh off a 15-1 season, okay? I'll just say it right now. But then the next year, he goes to San Francisco. His defense gives up 45 points. 45 points to Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers offense. Just alone off of rushing stats, the 49ers had 323 rushing yards in that game. Do teams even go in a 2-week stretch or maybe even a 3-week stretch rushing for over 323 yards? Has Tom Brady and Bill Belichick ever given up? Did they even give up 323 yards in the Super Bowl? Has that ever happened to Drew Brees in a playoff game? Has that ever happened to Peyton Manning in a playoff game? Big Ben? Has that ever happened to Joe Montana? No, it's never happened. Okay, so the fact that they gave up 323 rushing yards in a game, in a playoff game, is just abysmal. Aaron Rodgers, that loss is not on him. And then you go back to 2013. Look, he played well in that game, but they ultimately lost at home. But let's also not forget, guys, we got to give Aaron Rodgers a little bit of leeway here. The guy came off a major injury, okay? He broke his collarbone in about week 6 of the season, something like that, okay? Comes back, recovers fully, goes to Chicago in week 17 to get the Packers just even into the playoffs, okay? And then he loses at home to Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers. But again, no shame in losing that game. You want to know why? Because he was not the better team. He was not favored to win that game, okay? Now, ultimately, it was at home, so you can blame Aaron Rodgers a little bit for that. But again, look, pretty much you got the 49ers and the Seahawks from about 2011 to roughly about 2015. Those were the 2 best defenses on paper in the National Football League. Those were the two best teams in football as far as talent and rosters go. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers couldn't beat that team, the fact that he puts up 31 points versus that defense in 2012, can't win anything, that's not his fault, guys, okay? And then, look, in 2014, we get to the NFC Championship game. Brandon Bostic happened. Brandon Bostic, the guy, look, we were an onside kick away from getting to the Super Bowl. An onside kick away. And Brandon Bostic just flat out cannot recover an onside kick. The Seahawks were able to score. The game should have been over at that point. Okay, but hey, Aaron Rodgers actually drives us down the field and ties the game up to force overtime. So the game pretty much should have been over, okay? And then Aaron Rodgers forces overtime, but then doesn't get the ball back in overtime. The Green Bay defense gives up a touchdown to Russell Wilson, and they lose. And then 2015 at Arizona. This loss is not on Aaron Rodgers either, okay? Because you want to know why? Because he threw 2 straight Hail Marys to Jeff Janis. Okay, he was down to Jeff Janis and James Jones in that game. Our wide receiver core was terrible. Not terrible, but we had a ton of injuries to our wide receiver core that year. Okay, he threw 2 straight Hail Marys just to force overtime and lost because his defense couldn't get him the ball back in overtime versus Carson Palmer. Okay, so and then again in 2016, look. Anyone else but Aaron Rodgers could have got that team to the playoffs, okay? No one else but Aaron Rodgers could have gotten that team to the playoffs, okay? He dragged up 6 straight victories, dragged the 26th ranked defense to the playoffs, okay? Okay, he dragged the 26th ranked defense to the playoffs. Had to reel off 6 straight victories just to even get in. Beats Eli Manning in a playoff game at home. Goes to the Dallas Cowboys house in Jerry World. Beats a 13-3 Dallas Cowboys team, and then ultimately falls short to Matt Ryan and the Falcons. But hey, he was not the better team that year. He was not the better team. He didn't have the better team. Okay, Ladarius Gunter, Quinn Rollins, okay, and what's his name? Kentrell Bryce were the players in that Packers secondary. They had no shot versus Julio Jones and that Falcons team. So the fact they even got that far is an achievement in itself. Okay, so in conclusion, when you look at Aaron Rodgers' stats, his stats show. Look, you can pretty much look at Peyton Manning's individual performances in the playoffs and say, hey, Peyton Manning, you individually did not perform well. That's one of the reasons why you lost. Same with some other players like Big Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's played well in his losses, and I wanted to bring up some things. People want to say Big Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, and Tom Brady both have more rings than Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I'm not gonna argue much about Tom Brady. He's the GOAT, even though. He had a great defense every time, a great running game, never had a bad offensive line, has had the greatest head coach at his disposal, and has had people cheating for him, okay? We won't go there, okay? Let's look at Big Ben Roethlisberger in a Super Bowl that he won, okay? Big Ben, in a Super Bowl that he won, threw for 123 yards, only completed 42% of his passes, had 2 interceptions and no touchdowns, and a 22.6 passer rating. His team won! His team won! Oh my God! Okay, and then Peyton Manning, Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, only allow Cam Newton to score 10 points, okay? That Panthers team was stacked. A 15-1 Panthers team only scored 10 points versus Peyton Manning's defense, okay? In the Super Bowl, okay? And what does Peyton Manning do in that game? He throws for 141 yards, 56% completion percentage, and 1 interception. Look, I love Peyton Manning. He, to me, is the second greatest quarterback of all time at the very least, okay? But he was terrible, okay? At that time, he was terrible in that Super Bowl. He couldn't throw the ball past 20 yards, and he still won a Super Bowl. You want to know why? Because he had a defense, okay? Eli Manning, in the 2 Super Bowls that he beat Tom Brady, he was great. He threw a lot of great clutch throws. Eli Manning was excellent. He outplayed Tom Brady. But in reality, Eli Manning's defense only allowed 14 points the first time that they beat the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they only allowed 17 points the second time he won a Super Bowl. And Tom Brady, in 40 career playoff games, his team has given up 30 points only 5 times. In 40 career playoff games, Tom Brady's team has only given up 30 points 5 times. That's staggering. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers has lost playoff games have not all been on him. It's been the fact that he's not had the better team. He's always not had a great running game. Like I said, the best running back Aaron Rodgers has had is Eddie Lacy, a guy who ate his way out of the National Football League, a guy who's not getting playing time anymore in the National Football League because he's too fat. He's too fat. And let's be real, guys. Does Mike McCarthy stack up with any of these head coaches? Does he stack up with Joe Montana's head coach? Does he stack it with Bill Belichick? Does he stack it with Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing season? Does he stack it with Sean Payton? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And I want to ask you guys a question. There were 8 head coaching jobs open this year for new head coaches, okay? Why did Mike McCarthy not get hired? You want to know why? Because he's not that good of a head coach. He's a pride to the quarterbacks he's had. Mike McCarthy, for 13 years in the league, had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. One Super Bowl. I've been calling for Mike McCarthy to be fired for so long. This is a guy who will reportedly skip team meetings to get massages. I mean, are you kidding me? A guy in Greg Jennings, who was on the team for over 5 years, said Mike McCarthy had been running the same offense for 7 straight years, had never changed his playbook. I mean, these are NFL players that have came out and said this about Mike McCarthy, that have called him out for his lack of creativity. So Aaron Rodgers, again, I'm not here to make excuses for him. I understand that, you know, I'm kind of just going against some things, but let's be real. Aaron Rodgers has done a lot with a little. He has. The fact that he's won a Super Bowl, the fact that he's never been back to a Super Bowl, he has major reasons and excuses to where you can point to why he does not get to more Super Bowls. And let's be real, guys. If he was on the Giants team when Eli Manning's defense gave up those least amount of points, if he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers, does he have any less rings than Big Ben Roethlisberger? Does he have any less rings than Drew Brees on those Saints teams? Does he have any less rings than Peyton Manning when he was on those Colts teams? When Peyton Manning went 1 and done in the playoffs 9 times? Does he not have multiple Super Bowls with Bill Belichick as his head coach? And also, guys, let's not forget, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl this year, only throwing 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in the playoffs. Okay, the Super Bowl was 3-3 at the half, 3-3. And they won the Super Bowl, the Patriots. You want to know why? Because they actually had a defense. They actually had a head coach. When you look at Tom Brady, when you look at Joe Montana, when you look at some of these all-time great quarterbacks, they have had great defenses that have allowed them to stink up the joint for 3.5 quarters, but they know the game's going to be close in the 4th quarter. They can pretty much just close. I would love to see if Aaron Rodgers had that luxury. Because you want to know why? Aaron Rodgers, in his playoff career, he's 9-1 when his defense allows at least only 25 points. He's 9-1. In other situations, he hasn't won very many games. Okay, so look, again, Aaron Rodgers to me at worst is the 3rd best quarterback in the league right now. I think Patrick Mahomes definitely does warrant some consideration. Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, maybe Andrew Luck. But again, if you ask all these general managers and you ask me who I want to take as my quarterback today, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers because he's simply the most talented quarterback and the best thrower of the football that I've ever seen. He can do so much more with less. He's won with less. He's had a lot of success. He's won multiple MVPs, the best touchdown to interception ratio of all time, the most accurate quarterback of all time in my opinion. And again, if you think Aaron Rodgers is overrated and not a top 10 quarterback of all time and not a top 5 quarterback right now, you are just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That is a wrap for this video. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you're rocking with your boy and you enjoyed this content. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well, and turn on post notifications too so you don't miss a single video. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Is Aaron Rodgers overrated? Where does he rank among all-time great quarterbacks? Where does he rank among quarterbacks in the league today? Is he the best quarterback in the league still? Is he the top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback? Let me know in the comment section. I really want to know what you guys have to say about what Bucky Brooks and some of these NFL analysts have said. Once again, guys, it's my favorite thing in the world to do, to make YouTube content for you guys. I appreciate all you guys for tuning into my channel today. I want to go into Fox Sports 1 or ESPN potentially one day. Okay, I want to become a sports analyst when I get older. So if you believe in me, you believe in my dreams, tell all your friends about this channel. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, share it everywhere you know with all your friends, all that good stuff. I appreciate all you guys for tuning into my channel. I love all you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm going to have a blessed day. All you guys, I'm out.